smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
Can I address something real quick?
Please.
Yeah, man. It's been a rumor on the internet the last day or so, and I just want to address it head on and be direct about it.
This nigga trying to get Powder of the Month early.
I didn't win Powder of the Month last month. Emanny won.
Oh, the voting now you coming out swinging.
The voting is out.
Yo, you leaked some shit.
And I just want to applaud. No, I just want to applaud Emanny. That's all.
Make some noise for Emanny, Powder of the Month.
With me on the floor. Now, I never did such things when I was in control.
Well, it's a new regime now.
Apparently. It ain't gonna last long. So take your fucking shirt. Fuck you.
Nah, I gotta say, y'all little war that y'all be having
look different in the light, right?
Yo.
Under the blue shit.
Oh,
shit. The blue light too. That shit like west.
Yeah, we got the Gil. Now we got the Gil Grissom CSI light. Everybody mute up. ISO on Marc so he can address something head on.
That was it. I just wanted to address it.
Hey yo, don't like that again. I respect you. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever fucking give us a cliffhanger, nigga.
Cliffhanger.
I know what the fuck going on, but you lucky. I respect you. I'm on a new leaf.
What's going on, y'all? We are back with the files. All right, now listen. I want to say I just got to start this off. Episode 857 of the Joe Budden podcast. Melyssa is still not there. All right, now we got the lawsuit allegations. We got her and Marc have dated. It's a lot of stuff going on. Everybody's speculating. You know what I'm saying? But before I start and we get into this video, I got to shout out my man 38 Special right there. I got another vinyl, 7 shots. That's the name of it. Go check it out, man. Johnny's hard. Now, as we dive into this, right, people are going crazy, right? Even me. I was in the comments this morning. Me and JBP elevated. We in there talking, chatting it up. Cool dude, man. But let's be real. Mel hasn't been there since she walked off, right? And now every episode that drops without her only fuels more speculation. Remember, I told y'all I heard, from a credible source that Mel might be suing the Joe Budden Network. At first, I thought it was about just, about the disrespect, the constant jokes, the wild comments about her drug use, her dating life, and even that, White Lines moment when Flip was singing that song, White Line, right? About the cocaine and all that. But now I got a little hit, from the same person. And they was like, yo, Dub, it may not only be that, it may be something else. Right? So I'm like, hold up, we're gonna have to get to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm zipped with the drip or something. We're gonna have to get to that, right? No. But allegedly, Joe Budden suspended Melyssa for taking off too much or coming in late. And now she could be suing over the suspension itself rather than the content violations. Now, if that's true, that makes this a whole different kind of case. That's not just about, jokes going too far. That's about, workplace fairness, discipline, and treatment of employees versus friends. Now, we all know, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but before Mel had a problem with Flip's contract, and now he was able to just get up and go and do as he pleased. Now, when they had to re-sign, Mel has the same contract that Flip had, or a similar contract that Flip had. Now, let's not forget, Joe communicates poorly as a boss. I already gave y'all the files about him not telling his team what's really going on behind the scenes. If he blindsided Mel with a suspension and didn't have a real HR-style conversation first, that is a problem, all right? That's going to be a problem. Meanwhile, every comment under the pod joint today is filled with Mel's name. People are in there shocked like that she's not there. But here's the kicker. Before she left, those same fans were begging for her to be gone. All right? The fans, y'all be acting flaky. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be acting real flaky. You know what I mean? I got at somebody in the comments like, yo, Dub, chill. You know what I'm saying? Chill out. Me, I acting flaky. What y'all want? All right, what y'all want? One day they say, we don't want Melyssa on the couch. The next day they cry for her return. That tells me one thing. Love her or hate her, she moves the needle. right? And Mel's not sitting quiet either. She dropped her new pod, Hot and Bothered. And if you listen closely, she's sprinkling breadcrumbs all through that joint, all right? And I'm going to let y'all hear it after I break it down a little bit. In one clip, she broke down childhood trauma, admitting that she never thought she'd be that kid until she realized all children go through bullying in some kind of way, right? And that made me think, does Melyssa feel like she was bullied on the Joe Budden podcast, right? Because we've all seen how Flip, Joe, even Ice sometimes gang up on her, you know what I'm saying, mid-conversation when she's trying to, you know what I mean, let us know something. That'd be kind of foul.
Nugget of all of the videos that I post on all of my social media platforms is some form of trauma.
You know, it's interesting that you refer to or mention the fact that when you peeled back the layers, when you pulled on the thread, almost always it was rooted in childhood trauma where they had received some form of criticism or, you know, some form of bullying.
Yeah.
And when I think about my mental health journey, what I love most about my therapist is that we construct these plans of action to tackle certain issues. And boy, she's really great at this. But the latest thing that we have been focusing on, where a few years ago, if you'd said, Melyssa, you know, inner child, you know, focusing on inner child work, I would have been like, get the hell out of here with that
could
BS.
we not?
Like inner child, like, come on. And I was like, now I understand that we all have this inner child that suffered some kind of trauma.
Now, in another clip, Mel talked about closure. She said you can't always get it from someone else. You have to give it to yourself. Sometimes the person who hurt you won't even acknowledge what they've did to you. And I couldn't help but wonder, is that how Mel feels on the Joe Budden podcast? That you know, that she's not looking for them to give her closure. She's just going to move on and do her own thing, you know what I mean? Write her own ending, right? That's fire. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what I took from that.
And so that's my ideal client, people who are ready to get out of the water.
What are your thoughts on closure? That made me, why I ask you that is because when you were talking just now and you're talking about people who express having been wronged and sitting in that self-victimization and that anger and not being able to move past it. What are your thoughts on closure? I feel like closure is just, it's a farce. Like it's a fable. You have to give closure to yourself because you're not always going to get the closure from the person that you're hoping it would come from. You're not always going to get the apology that you feel like you deserve. That person might not even be able to acknowledge what they've done to you and the harm that they've caused. So what are your thoughts as a mental health professional on closure and how important it seems to be to people, specifically women?
Then she spoke about gender wars too. And here's the thing, Mel doesn't shy away from those conversations, but she doesn't like being picked apart also while she's having them. And that's what the JBP does to her, all right? They would constantly cut her off, clown her takes, and even make her feel less, you know what I'm saying, in a debate sometimes, right? They be doing the dog piling, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, we already know.
I think that closure on your terms is absolutely possible.
All right, so Dr. Shante, I'm going to move on to something that everybody has either seen or participated in on social media.
Okay.
And that is the never-ending gender war. Boy, is it kicked up in the last couple of years.
It really has.
What it makes me wonder, and I'm going to play a clip that relates to your opinions on this, but what this makes me wonder is because how divisive it has made us. We focus solely on all of the differences, but as a mental health professional and a college professor, what would you say are the ways that we are more similar than we are different, that we don't focus on?
Now, in this episode, 857 is serious. Marc tried to play slick, okay? He said he had to address a rumor. And we all know what that rumor is, okay? The whispers online is that he and Mel had a thing in the past, okay? Instead of answering it head on, he ducked and pivoted to Emanny winning Powder of the Month. Classic dodge, but that left everybody, you know what I'm saying, on a cliffhanger. And Emanny, he's leaning into the narrative crazy, all right? He even made a shirt of himself standing over Marc, okay, in a boxing ring, wrestling ring, something with the caption that says, "E shows no grace." Funny? Yeah, of course. Mad funny. Ha ha, kiki, right? But with that Mel rumor floating around, it makes their back and forth look deeper than just jokes. Is this friendly competition, or are we seeing, you know what I mean, little shots about who really had the upper hand with Mel? All right? Now, Ice jumped in and said, the war between Marc and Emanny looks different in the light. Flip took it further. He said the blue light. Joe jumped in and said the CSI light. All right? Now, we all know what that light mean, all right? The kind of light that shows stains on the sheets when the room go dark, right? Now, that's wicked. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they would come in with the flashlights. And I forgot that show. But y'all tell me it was a show. They used to come in. Oh, nope. They was doing it here. We see it. And that's where they took it. So that could only, you know what I'm saying, make my mind go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Flip, that was a wild one. Yo, that was a wild one. And honestly, the way he said it, it told me everything. All right? Did Flip just confirm that Marc and Emanny both might have cracked Mel? Did they crack the egg? I don't know, but that's kind of how it came off, right? Now, Joe tried to make it sound like Marc was really about to address it. But when Marc swerved away from the question, that got Flip tight, right? And it got me tight too, though. But you could tell Flip was really frustrated because the whole room was waiting for Marc to just clear the air. But at some point, they're gonna have to face this rumor, okay? So now we got a bigger picture forming here. Mel's absence is more than just she's sick or she's busy, okay? This looks like a storm that's been brewing, okay? We got lawsuits, suspensions, rumors about cast hookups. The fans are flip-flopping, you know what I'm saying? And Mel herself is finding her voice on her own pod. The files are getting heavy, all right? Now, let me ask y'all this. Do you think Joe Budden really suspended Melyssa Ford? And if so, was he wrong for doing that to someone he calls a friend? And do you think Mel feels like she was bullied on that couch and that's why she finally is ready to walk away? And what about this Marc and Emanny situation, right? Was Flip exposing the truth with that, black light, with that blue light joke? Or was he just being messy? Let me know what you guys think, right? Drop your comments, you know what I'm saying? Because we got the files, all right? And I want y'all to, we gotta tap in. We gotta all tap in. We gotta be equally yoked in this situation, all right? And now listen, dog. Shout out to Mandy B, but I know that she watching the videos now. Shout out to Mandy B. Shout out to her for watching the video. She watched the lawsuit video. I'm the only one out the Clippers that did the lawsuit video. It's me, Danny, and Elevated. I'm the only one that threw out the lawsuit allegations. But shout out to Mandy B for doing that. She dropped the tweet and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Talking about that. But I know y'all watching now. The subscribers is going up. Appreciate y'all for hitting the subscribe button. You know what it is. It's all love, man. I just come in here doing the content for y'all. I woke up early, watched the pod when it dropped. You know what I'm saying? Brought my son in here. He in the back room and all of that. Listening to his pops. Do the thing. Do the thug thizzle. But listen, drop your comments, and we're going to be back with the files.
My guy, Dub, too. That's my man, though.
Gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.